Hello everybody, it's Hadge here once again, picking up where we left off on our exploration of the New Mexico DLC for Railway Empire. In part 1, we achieved our goal of supplying and growing a Mexico City, as you can see here. And now we have actually, we've got two competing goals to achieve, we could achieve. Our first, which we could opt to do, is to supply Veracruz with coffee. Another alternative is to supply Acapulco with coffee. Now both these tasks are provided by different characters, and I've had a playthrough off camera to see what difference it makes, and it does steer the scenario in different directions. Now the one I'm going to go ahead and do is actually supply coffee to Acapulco. So despite having this line set up already, I'm going to go ahead and remove it. And then focus solely on supplying coffee to Acapulco. So we'll get rid of all the tracks, we'll get all the money back for that. There we go. So there's no trace now of that line that we had. And instead, I want to go ahead and run a line from this platform here. And then bring this down towards Acapulco. Trying to avoid that. There we go, that's better. So we just set him there for the time being, and then we can get him linked up. Get a dual track set in place. And our signals. Probably need a second supply tower just because of the length of this route, so we'll put one there. And we'll start bringing just coffee beans down to Acapulco. Put a load of trains down there. Okay. Now, having played ahead a little while, this is kind of, well, it's not, I don't even think it's cheating because, you know, people are going to play these scenarios more than once, I suppose. But once you've hit this target here, your next target is to supply, I'm trying to remember, I think it's wheat, beer, it's wheat, it's beer, it's, what else is it? Well, you have to supply 3 resources to Acapulco. Wheat and beer are definitely one of them. Maybe logs? Or it may be textiles. Regardless, I know wheat is definitely one of the resources we need to supply. So what we're going to do, I'll put a tray, just put a station down. So yes, we put the station down in Guadalajara. I have actually gone ahead and tried to learn some of the pronunciations for these towns. Hopefully I'm doing them justice. We want to supply him with the wheat to grow the beer industry. So we'll get a station down here. Another thing you need to be doing throughout the entire scenario, especially if you want to stand yourself in a good position later on, is to be growing your economy as much as you can, because you need that. You need a very strong economy later on. So I would advise, while you're sitting around waiting for a task to complete, go ahead and lay a few extra trains here and there, a few extra tracks, link up other industries. You could even buy your own industries. That's always a good idea. Oops, I just need to adjust this line because I forgot to... Oh no, I did set him fully loaded. So let's give him a train. And I think the 3 is going to be enough. And let's clone him once more. I want to think about getting a second station here in Acapulco. So we'll get a regular size station for now, which can and doubtless will be expanded later. But for the time being, I'm just going to run a line up to that station that we have by the wheat farm. And I also want to run one to the city of Guadalajara. That will do. Try and get rid of... Obviously there's no more bridges on the line, okay, so it's just an expensive line. Let's check our research. We'll go for the reduction in consumables consumption. While our money's accumulating, let's just check our progress on this target. So we're halfway there. So we can ignore this one. We've scrapped this, we've abandoned this target. It's this one we're going for now. So far so good. Future tasks following this route. As I said, it does branch off here, depending which objective you go for, whether it's Acapulco or Veracruz. But if you go for the Acapulco route, you end up having to ship coal, oil and iron to Mazatlan. And you have to start shipping... No, we don't go into the south. Then you need to start shipping tools, steel and furniture. I think they're the 3 into El Paso. And then after that you ship into Houston, Brownsville and Odessa. So you do want to be expanded into the north if you're following this this route. Anyway, that's our line set up. That's going to supply us some wheat. Let's go ahead and finish him off. Put down the signals, which are now all done. And we'll have a supply tower roughly halfway. So just slow the game down. Get a few trains started bringing wheat. One thing I also want to do is, not that I'm going to use this, but I want to just hook that up to there. So then Guadalajara is classed as being connected to our home city, which will allow us to put stations down in other cities, because it will be a connected one to all intents and purposes. So I'll put that down now, even if we don't use that line, which I don't think we're going to do. Another task we have to do is ship preserved food, which takes steel and fish. So for my money, we use this city here, Culiacan, I think. Okay, so now our scenario has branched off, and we're following Stanford's route. So let's go ahead and check the tasks. So yes, grain, beer, it was cloth and wood. So the grain and beer are on their way. Got that set up ready to go. We have beer available, wood available here. Which we will eventually merge into this line, but not just yet. We'll do that a little bit closer in, just to avoid traffic building up too much on our main line. Your final objective in this scenario is to buy out your competitor, but you cannot do that until the last task list is sent out. So for example, I couldn't go into the stock market now and start buying Don Lorenzo's shares. You have to wait until it's unlocked, for, you know, in a matter of speaking. Well, there we go, that's all present and correct. So just slow our game down so we don't waste too much time while getting these trains set up. Let's go ahead and get a couple of trains here. And then we want to bring some of this cloth from Mexico City into Acapulco as well. So we can go ahead and do that now, and the way we're going to do that is by just hooking these two together. Naturally we're going to need switches on either main line now, but that's okay, put them in. See if we can put a little siding in here. Yes. Okay, let's just reset the signals on that line, and then do the same on this line. That's all good to go. And let's have a train, or several, prioritizing cloth. If I leave there, yeah, just the cloth, not the meat. You shouldn't bring the meat anyway, but just to make sure. So cloth to Acapulco. Let the game time run so we can get the cash to buy the train. And now we can slow it down a bit. How much cloth do we need to ship? 20. So 3 trains, assuming they are fully loaded with cloth, which they're not going to be, would be enough. So bearing in mind that they're not going to be fully loaded, I'll have 4. We need to bring the beer from Guadalajara. So we need the money to expand our station there. We could bring in from Veracruz, but we've already got this set up in terms of supplying the wheat to feed the industry. So I think I'll just let them share a line. There we go. We just see how many trains we have. We have just the 3. Okay, so it shouldn't be too congested. So prioritizing beer and only leaving when you're full. As we saw with the trains from Mexico City, they could fill up with passengers and mail as well. That's okay. So further reduction in the consumption of materials. And then I'll get the open hearth furnace once we get 200 points. So a little slow while we wait for these trains to be loaded. That's okay. Just having a look at our tasks. So all 4 are now connected. 3 out of 4 are almost completed. The cloths got 4 to go, 6 on the wood, 8 on the grain. Obviously we do have a train destined for Acapulco being loaded full of grain, so yes, I want to buy that because I know I need to use that later.
Excellent. The US customers will be delighted.
That's all wood taken care of. When that train arrives, that'll be the grain taken care of. What are you waiting for now? Oh, you're waiting for him to head into a new track block. Okay. Other industries I'm going to need are oil. So I'm just going to go ahead and buy a couple of these up now, because later on when you start to try and buy up some of these industries, your competitor will drive up the price in bidding wars. So top tip for you, get them early while he doesn't do that. Cheaper locomotives, we will go for that. I also want to pick up this. Don't need that to mine that I can remember, so that's okay. I want.
This clinched the deal.
That's 2 of our 4. It's just the beer. We have a train with beer on its way.
Come to power, and I fear he will not give up on the presidency that easy. Let us hope he has more important things to do than seeking out revenge on you.
I don't want that, to be perfectly honest. I don't have any. Don't often use train personnel, so.
Not bad. That task is done.
I want to pick up the coal industry. I also want to get this iron ore industry. Try and grab this fishing industry. And then I need to start buying up some of the industries in Durango, Mazatlan, and Chulacan. because I want to replace them with industries of my own. I will also look to buy, I think, the industry in San Luis Potosi or Tampico, or perhaps even Monterrey. But for now, we can just wait for these beer deliveries to start hitting our city. So we have 2 more en route carrying 4 trains full of carts full of beer. Another 8 there is 12. There's 15. Sorry, I've messed up my maths there. A number anyway. Okay, we'll get the cheaper locomotives now. Just check on our progress. So, okay. Oh, we need another 5 more loads to arrive anyway, so that's all good. So I'm just letting my money build up, because I'm going to need it very soon. In fact, let me just check how our bonds look. Yes, we can repay and reissue. That pushes over a mill, so that's excellent. So let's go ahead and get this iron ore industry. And then I want to pick up this beer industry. I also want to pick up this one. And this industry, which I was just quick enough putting a bid in before my money dropped below the bid price. So I will go negative, I think. Yes, just. That's okay. I've picked up a lot of the industries I'm going to need. And at this point, while we just wait for our 1 more trainload of beer to arrive, which it's going to arrive very shortly, we'll pause it and we'll end this episode 2 at this point, just in time to see what lies in store. If memory serves, it's a shipment of the iron, coal and oil to what city was it now? Mazatlan. I think that's what's next. We'll find out in the next episode. So, as always guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in episode 3.